Today we're going to draw this little couch side table. I've included the file for you to follow along or use in any way you want. So when you start AutoCAD, I'm drawing this in AutoCAD for Mac 2022. If you would like to see it drawn in AutoCAD on Windows 2022, just leave a comment below and I will reshoot the video in Windows. So right now the tab it's set up just stock with drafting, but we'll change the model or the tab to model. And then I like to adjust my viewport to Southwest. So you will see in the file that there already is the model in there for you. So basically, let me just move this out of the way. Let's move it up by 100. It's not distracting anybody. So we've drawn this couch table. I think the top is 1 inch thick. So this is a piece of furniture that I have made. I've made lots of times. So it's 28 tall, and the top is 23 by 19, and there is an 1/8 inch overhang in the back, 1 inch I believe in the front, and 1 inch on the sides. So how I usually go about it is, I have some sections here so we can understand what's going on inside. So right now there is no drawer boxes drawn. There would require blocking on the sides for to support the drawers, but I will do a video on making a dynamic block for drawer boxes with undermount and side mount. I will also be giving that block away to accelerate your drawing. You can also I'll show how to set it up with stops on the sizes that you buy them in, so your drawer boxes will always be correct. Anyways, so let's get started. So we know, so I'm selecting the solid. We know that the top is 1 inch thick. So I'm using the 2D drawing as a guide for my parts. And I'm going to offset this 25. And so for the front of it, I did include the handle. We will make the handle in this video. But for right now, I'm actually just going to select all these handles and move them off of the drawing. Let me just undo that because I grabbed something else. You can do it a bunch of different ways, but because I could make these as a solid object, but what I like to do is I like to use the press pull command, and I know the thickness of all these faces. If you're buying standard lumber, or it's going to be 3/4. So I'm just letting it pick the boundaries. I'm just going down by 3/4. I'll get this 2 middle rails as well. So you just want to make sure that the part that you want to press pull is highlighted in blue. So now I have those components all done. And it didn't take very long. So now I can just select these objects and move them over. And I recommend moving them over a set distance that is something that because then you can use the line drawing as a reference if you need to move anything. So if I move everything over 50, right, and then if I have to make a component or whatever you need after that, and then I don't know if I want to move those over. I'll leave those there for now. So what we need to do now is rotate this so it sits under that top. And then we can also extrude our sides. So on a construction like this, the sides could be made out of plywood. They could be, you could laminate some material. I'm just going to bring it over. And then I'm going to use the rotate command. So I have dynamic input on. I got my rotate 3D. You can also use the rotate I'll have to look it up, 3D something, and it gives you you know, the arrows like a gimbal on it that you can rotate it. So I'm going to select my object. And I'm going to rotate it on the Y by 90 degrees. That causes it to rotate down. And then one thing I'm going to do is, because if we actually build this, we'll be mitering that actual wood leg to the plywood side. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to use the chamfer. And then I'm going to use, so I entered D for distance, 0.75 and 0.75. So I'm entering the same distance on both, selecting the edge, enter. So what it's done is it's cut it at a 75 degree. I didn't hit enter again. So we'll select that, enter, and then enter again as we're accepting the distance. And then again, I'm going to do it on this leg. And then I'm going to move this over. I'm going to grab the top outside edge of that point, and I'm going to place it there. So I draw in Southwest isometric 2D wireframe because I'm fairly used to drawing in 3D this way. But you know, you can use realistic. You can apply materials. You can also use the X-ray, which sort of, you know, so you can see through things. You can see where things line up. So sometimes you will think you're lining something up, and then when you rotate it, so I'm holding the shift center mouse button and I'm just like rotating around so I can actually see that I did line those two components up. And then I'll switch back to Southwest. But again, I prefer to draw in just in the 2D wire mode because for me it's faster. But whatever, you know, makes you see what you're actually doing is best. So I'm just mirroring, and on the center point, let me just redo this again. So I'm going to remove this leg because I've already cut this other leg, and I want to keep that on both parts. So I'm selecting both parts. I mirrored it, and I'm just mirroring on the center, and I do not want to erase the objects. Okay, so now, right now I could rotate this and then put the top on, or I can rotate, so rotate, 3D rotate, grab the component, enter, and I want to rotate on the X, enter, pick a back corner, and 90 degrees, rotates the top. And then what I want to do is I want to move from this back corner down to this corner. So, and then I want to move it. I know it's offset backwards an eighth. So I'm just, you know, and I'm not selecting anything near that I could. And I select over here randomly. My ortho is on, so it's, you know, going to go in a straight line and 1 inch. So now my top is set in the right position. There is these plastic glides in this model that you can, I mean, it's a block right now, so you can explode the block and then you can use those components, and same with the handles if you want. And those are just, they're not levelers or anything like that. These are just things that we would put them all on the feet. So when you slide it around the factory floor, they move around quite easy. They can go into the paint booth and out, and then there is no damage to the legs before they're delivered to the customer. Okay, let's look at it again in realistic. Let's see what we have here. So we've got the two sides, the top, the drawer faces, and the stretchers. So really, if we were just making this to render, we would just need the handles, and then we could move this over to a render engine, or we could apply materials and render in the cloud with Autodesk. But what we're going to do is I'm going to render this in Fusion. I won't have that as part of this video, but we can definitely do a video of that. All right. So now what we need is we need the back. I think this cabinet had a 3/4 inch plywood back. So there's a couple ways that we could do it. So right here we know if we dimension, so I just DI'd. So it's 19.5. Total height of the back is 23.5. So we could just make 19.5, 23.5, and we know it's going to be 0.75. We could do it that way. We could grab this back bottom corner or top bottom corner. We're going to line it up with the inside back of that. And then we have our back. And then we just need a floor. And again, press pull command. Because I have a section here, see, I don't like that because we're getting that line. So just go to solid. So it's giving us that funny line because this line is not a solid line. So it's bringing it in the face. So 0.75. So I just use the drawing itself as a reference. I can move this over. Could have rotated it there. So it's rotate 3D, select the object, enter X, because I want to rotate it on the X by 90 degrees. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this corner here. I'm going to place it against that bottom there. So again, we look at it conceptually. Now the box itself is a sealed box. Some people, if you're going to draw this for construction, some people don't like to use 3/4 inch plywood. Well, you can see here that I have an issue with the placement. So yeah, I guess it's going inside corner to bottom back. And that is where that goes. It's funny that I'll have to look at that. What is the depth here? 16 3/8. And look at the inside corner. Yeah, 16 3/8. So with the ortho snap on, what I did is I DI'd and I grabbed that inside corner. So it shows up as the box, as the corner, triangle as the center. And again, if we were in 2D wireframe, you can see that point a lot easier. Let's rotate around. That's the angle of our plywood meeting our solid face. Southwest isometric again. Okay, so now, really, the top has a couple, I think they're 2-inch stretchers for attaching the top across there. You could make a hole like 2 inches in front, 2 inches in back, and on the sides to attach. And you also want to, because we will work on this top a bit, as the top will expand and contract. So you will need, you can do your center ones without slotted holes, but, towards the outside, you definitely want to use a slotted hole pan head with a washer to allow the top to expand and contract. But let's make these handles first. So what we do know about the handle, I think they're 3/8 tall, right? Yeah. So we have this view of them. So we can just use the press pull command. What we should do though is trim these two lines out. Let's just press pull it as one component. So, and we will go up by 3/8. I'm just setting the value. We'll move that back. We are going to rotate 3D and select the object. X, pick bottom of the handle, 90 degrees. Sorry, negative 90 degrees. Rotate 3D. Select X. There, minus 90. We'll rotate it up. Now, because I moved these handles off, but I do know they were in the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select these objects again. Center point, center. And now I have where my handles go. So I'm going to move this object. I'm going to move it, select the object, then I'm shift right click to get my quick menu, and I'm going to go mid between 2 points. I'm going to go outside of handle, base to outside of handle base. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, shift right click again, and I'm going to go outside of handle face to outside of handle face. And that lines up exactly where I want it. You can see that this component already is radiused on the edge, but we can do the rest of the radius now, and then we'll copy it. So we're going to fillet the edge. We're going to enter distance 1/32, and then we're just going to select outside lines. You have to select the corner line, and you can select all of these, and we'll go right around the component. And you'll see that it's turning all the lines that we selected blue so that we know which ones are included. And again, you know, working in wireframe kind of allows us to see all of these lines that we're selecting. If we were using like conceptual, you could still select the lines, and it would show you that they're selected, but to me it's a little bit easier. So now we know we've selected them all. We hit enter, enter to accept the radius. So now we have, let's go to conceptual, and we have a nice radius handle. And really, when you render stuff, nothing in real life has a perfect 90-degree corner. So a lot of the times when you render, so you can tell it's a render if everything is perfectly square. So we're going to select that object. I'm going to use the midpoint on this handle, and I'm just going to go up, and I'm going to place it on all 3 drawer faces. And I'm going to move and select all these together, and I'm going to move them. We move it 50 or 100. I think we moved it. There we go. So now they are lined up on the drawer face. So again, a couple different ways to draw things with solid objects and extrude. The next video we'll talk about booleans, these commands here, the union, the subtraction, the intersection, for making tapered legs and stuff like that. And then again, we can just rotate this object by selecting all, enter X, picking a leg, 90 degrees, have it rotate up. So one other thing that I sort of alluded to earlier is the top. So, you're not going to just buy a piece of wood that is, 19 inches deep and expect it not to cup. So this we'd want to divide. So really, maybe into 4 pieces, depending on the lumber you're getting. But if you use the command divide, you select the line, and say we type in, we want it to be in, type in 5. So when I did that, it actually put these little tiny marks in there for us to use as a reference. And if you type in DDE type, it will actually, you can change the points so that you can see them. So now it's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, and they are 3, just over 3 1/4. So, and when we make this, what we will do is we will grab the construction line. So we'll just, I hit L for line, enter, and then just going to go over like this. And you'd want to rotate the pieces, grain cupped up, cupped down. Then we can cross select those. I guess I didn't grab that. And again, we're going to use the press pull. And here we're just going to go up 1. And then I'm just going to redo that. So I selected the object, and then I just hit enter, so spacebar to enter, and that pulls the press pull command to the last known height, or last entered height. And then I'm just going to move, and I'm going to select these. So there's a couple ways to move this over to here. So I can leave it so that now there's two objects there, which I don't want. Or I could have, I could have drew a line from the original object, move the original object, and then move them to this point in space. But what you can do is you can just grab the first one, move it over by 2, just a known value, grab the full top, move it off. And then when you go to render this in whatever render engine, then you will be applying the same material to each one of these. And you can then, like if you're using Fusion 360, you can then set the actual grain and where the center is. And, it's quite powerful, and you can make extremely realistic images of furniture with the wood in AutoCAD Fusion. Okay, so I think that covers everything. And again, if you want to see this done in AutoCAD for Windows, I'm more than happy to film it in both. But the commands are still the same. There's more commands in AutoCAD for Windows than there is for Mac. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. And if there's a type of piece of furniture or an object, or like something complicated that you're having a hard time figuring out, yeah, leave a comment, and I'll make a quick video and try to help you out. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.